Bear with me, I'm testing something. Okay, let's start up the game. Welcome to Open XCom. This is XCOM UFO Defense using Open XCom.
Warning. Warning. UFO detected.
Okay, that was the intro for XCOM UFO Defense, Enemy Unknown. It had a couple different names, but this is a game from about 1994 or 95. Still fairly popular amongst people who played it back then. So I'm going to give people a chance to come in because I'm not quite ready to start up the whole thing. Alright, I need to make sure I got these settings right. So I'm going to use this time to kind of adjust things, and I've already started 3 games and got them set up the way I usually like to start the game. Um, I've chosen a base. I've chosen a base location. I've gone in and sold some items and ordered some items. Um, but otherwise, I'm gonna wait before I actually start the actual game. to see if anybody chimes in. But in the meantime, I'm going to show what it looks like when you do start a new game. Now, this is Open XCom, so it's kind of like a modded version of the XCOM game. So you have several. You can play just a battle if you want. You can use all sorts of options if you wanted to play around with things. I believe I only selected a few of those things. This is still saved from my last playthrough, so I haven't tweaked any of the options. But when you start a game, one moment here, bear with me. I'm trying to get the screen, the windowed screen, to be a certain size for me. It might move the screen around. Yeah, see that move? It's not what I wanted to do. So I really don't want to play the game in this little window. Let's see what happens when I do that. Nope, that messed it up too. That's a shame. Also, bear with me. My microphone's been having issues the past few days. It may fade in and out. Alright, so let's click on New Game. Click on that. And the first thing it does is makes you pick a base. I'm not going to show where I've actually got the base until I load up that game. But I'm just going to pick a spot at random here. Now, as I said in my previous playthrough, where you start out matters. As you can see, OpenXCom shows you how much your radars can detect. You're currently going to start off with a small radar, which is the inner circle. And you want to try to get as much coverage area as you can with your first base, because these countries all fund you, and the more you handle activity in their area, the longer they will stay funding you each month. However, when you go to buy another base, each of these areas charges you different prices for putting your base there. So, starting off with one of the more expensive areas like Europe could be ideal for some people. During my last playthrough, I started off in North Africa here, and then I believe I put another base in North Africa as a secondary base. I don't know if anybody can hear my cell phone or not, but for those who have not watched my recent streams, I have a laptop and I have a cell phone. I watch the chat on my cell phone. So let's just say I chose, let's just pick a spot. This is Europe 1. Okay, now at some point if I wanted to build a new base, I'd click this. This is your base screen. And it's important to know that when you come into this screen, the time pauses. If you go back down here to Geoscape, time runs, even if it's just 5 seconds. So don't go to the Geoscape and then go to the bathroom. You know, it's not a good idea, because as long as you're in here, you're not missing any UFO action. Now, if I was ready to build a new base, let's see. North Africa, 650,000. North America, 800. South America, 600. Put another one in Europe is 1 million. So it's a good thing that if you wanted to start off there and not have to spend the full 1 million on your next one, because you would have already gotten a Europe for free. And you could also put one down here, but bear in mind, there's no countries down here. You're only putting, basically you'd be putting a radar outpost to catch them. But early on, you may not be able to intercept them, because you want to get them over land up here. You can't shoot them down over water. So while let's click cancel. Let's go to the graph. You have 2 different graphs here for the alien activity. You've got the ones that show the areas, and at some point these will start going up if an alien aircraft shows up. Your objective is to try to keep these graphs as low as possible. The longer you let them float around and do whatever they're doing without being shot down and dealt with, the higher the graph will go with their activity. Here's the country activity, and these are your funding countries. Just like this screen here tells you your income, and whether, you know, right now all these countries are giving lots of money. This is to tell how much activity you've done in the areas. Your score is important. That's how many points you got from going and dealing with the aliens. These are your funding countries. At the end of each month, this will go up or down depending on how happy they were with you. Or you could lose a country if you're not helping them out enough, and they will sign a pact with the aliens and take their chances. And if you lose a country, you cannot get them back. This is very important because your bases cost a lot of money to maintain, and without their help, you have to either be doing a lot of missions and selling a lot of items or manufacturing a lot of items just to keep up the difference. But it's also possible, even if you were still paying your bills, if you lost too many of these countries, to still get a game over. They could just say, we're not satisfied with what you're doing, game over. Okay, here's what we start off with. We have a Sky Ranger. This is our troop transport. It holds up to 14 soldiers. You could also add on up to 3 heavy weapons platforms, you know, tank-like objects, but they take up space, and I don't play with the tanks. Now, this is Open XCom, so I have the option of actually adding a weapon to this, but I did not do that. Instead, I still play it old school, where you first have your interceptor fighter jet go intercept the UFO and try to shoot it down, and then you send this one to the scene of the crash to try to go kill the rest of the aliens and recover the goodies. This is a interceptor weapon, and so is this, and so is this. As you progress in the game, you can learn how to make other weapons also. Tank cannon, a tank rocket launcher. To start off the game, you have earth weapons available. You have a pistol, or a rifle, or heavy cannons, auto cannons, rocket launchers, grenades. A smoke grenade if you want to try to use cover to make it harder for the aliens to see your troops. A proximity grenade, as it says here, you can throw it like a grenade, but it doesn't blow up unless something is moving near it. But the problem with this is if the alien doesn't go that direction and later on you walk your troops over it, you're going to blow up. This is basically a weapon. It's just a big bomb pack that you have to try to throw. It's like a big time bomb that you're trying to throw at something. A stun rod is basically a taser for trying to capture living aliens, but you have to be right next to them to use it. So you gotta like really, really sneak up on them. And then make sure you have enough time units to actually use it. An electro flare is basically what it looks like. It's like you're throwing a light bulb on the ground to light an area. Kind of like how they use glow sticks. So you can throw these during a night mission. They're important. And then if you go over to one, you can pick it back up and throw it again if you need to. This is the access lift of your base. When aliens attack your base, they can enter through this. You have a living quarters. This is where your soldiers, scientists, and engineers all sleep. So you have to have enough of these to hold as many as you need, and you will need a lot of scientists to do all the research. But you'll also need to be able to have your soldiers and engineers. So it's a matter of planning out what you're doing first and how, and you can only have up to 50 scientists in a laboratory, but at some point you're going to need more than that. Workshop is for your engineers to build things. A small radar, a large radar, and an important thing to note is the amount of days it takes to construct something. We have our missile defenses. I don't use these because they're pretty much useless. The ship that attacks your base is their largest ship. You would have to basically have nothing but these trying to shoot at the thing to have them do anything. It's basically tickling the ship. Storage is important. You definitely need to have more than one of these right away because it will fill fast. And if you don't have enough storage when you go to bring recovered items back, you won't be able to take as much. Alien containment for your living aliens that you might capture. Hangar. A hangar is also an area where aliens can intrude into your base from during one of those missions where they attack. And that's all we have for that for now. For the crafting of weapons. We don't know any alien life forms yet or any of this stuff. We'll eventually learn it. You start off without having any research projects, but you have laser weapons to research, and I right away start doing that. It's an earth weapon, but you still have to research it in order to make it. Motion scanners, which kinda help, but I never use them. Medikits for if you're lucky enough to be able to try to help a wounded soldier, but usually they end up dead, so I don't bother using these. If we're lucky to have anybody survive a battle who's wounded, they will just be out of action for a while. And if you're as I did in my other playthrough, I put in a replacement with the same, let's say Jimmy Smith comes into the chat room and I add Jimmy Smith's soldier, but he survives the battle, but he's wounded. Well, I take that one out of action and add Jimmy Smith 2 to the crew. And then whichever one is the oldest, the one that started first will be put back on the ship when the first one gets out of the infirmary. And just a matter of whether they die or not. If a chatter soldier is killed, I replace them and also put a number after the name. So here's your interceptor craft, starting off with a stingray and a cannon. And then this one has a stingray and a cannon also. But if I don't want those, I can choose, as long as I have something to change it with, I can do 2 cannons. Or I can change my mind on this one and I want an avalanche instead. But then you have to wait for it to rearm, which is important. A cannon is really mostly only useful for the very smallest ship. If you use the other weapons on one of the very small ships, you'll pretty much destroy it. If you want to shoot down the very smallest ship, you need to shoot it down using cannons. And sometimes you're just about to shoot it down when it flies away, and it can fly faster than your ship, so you might not. And then your Sky Ranger. You start off with only 8 of your 14 crew. The names are random. Now, if you want to see what you have, there's a trick here where you can go to this inventory screen. This is a female. That's a male. Then we have another female. That's a male there. And you can tell because obviously this one has more of a bulky figure, whereas the female is a little bit more hourglass. And then they just kind of, you have just a few basic ethnicities, let's say. You got a blonde girl, you got a blonde guy, you got a brunette here, and then you got that guy. There's a blonde there. And then you got that guy, and you might have like multiples of the same one. Hey, Daniel. And then they start you off with these things on your ship. I usually get rid of everything except for the rifles, because I very rarely use these heavy cannons and grenades and such. They're just... I just prefer not to use them. I usually will use the rifles until I have the laser weapons available. It also says armor. You're not going to have armor until you're able to research it. And then you have your aircraft in your hangars. If one of them's out, there'll be an empty spot. But in order to either build another aircraft or buy another aircraft, you will need another hangar. You can either build one at your current base or build one at a new base. But just keep in mind that all the facilities that you build take a certain amount of time. You want another living quarters, it's going to take 16 days. You want more workshop space? Well, that's going to take 32 days. That won't be until the following month. You're going to want to get a large radar station right away, because this one only does the small area. You're going to want your general stores. You want your alien containment. And while you may or may not be ready for another laboratory, because you're not going to have your 50 scientists yet, it takes 26 days to make, so time is important. Go ahead and build it. And then you go to the purchase screen and you buy either, well, you get your 6 soldiers, so you've got at least your 14 to start with. And then you could keep in mind these things cost money when you want more of them. And then if you need more weapons for your aircraft or weapons for... The thing to keep in mind is you're going to want to have enough clips for your rifles. So you're going to, you're going to order more, because if you don't have any in storage at the base, you won't be able to re-equip your aircraft for the next mission. And this is where you would buy electro flares or stun rods, etc., etc. If you had something to engineer and create, this is where it would happen. We don't have anything yet because we haven't finished researching these items. And then if you need to sell something, they have a sell screen. Open XCom has updated it to kind of tell you what you have of certain things and how many you're selling, and then they've given you menus like this so that you can just see, like, oh, that's how many people I have that are not doing something right now. Now, my soldiers are currently on the Sky Ranger, so they're not showing up here because they're not just hanging around the base. Important to note is if you don't have soldiers just sitting around your base and your Sky Ranger is out, then you won't have any soldiers to defend the base if you do get attacked. And you'll just lose the base. Unless you had weapons to shoot down that UFO. But, as I mentioned a few minutes ago, missile defenses are useless. You'd have to pretty much put all of these spots with missile defenses, and then get lucky that your 4 turns somehow shoots down one of those. So, these are not the actual soldiers. I have save games that I'm going to start. I saved 3 versions of the start game in case one of them goes bad and I have another one to try rather than restarting the same one. But this is an example of renaming. I can go like that, and I have up to 22 characters to put in here. So, for example, this does fit. However, I'm not able to write the whole thing if I wanted to add Daniel. And if I don't use spaces, it still will leave the Y off of there. So, but as always, anybody who is added, I will put their names will be in the description for the episodes to tag their channels so that everybody can check out their channels. So when you're on the geoscape, you have the option of speeding up time, waiting for the UFOs. And I'll give you an example. Let's speed up until we get to... Alright, 5 seconds. Now let's look at our graph. Did anything move? Not yet. No? It usually takes a few minutes. How about now? No? But you have to be diligent when watching these because the smallest UFO is barely going to leave a mark on there, and those are the ones you gotta try to get at because they can be quite nasty if you don't catch them. So there we see that there is activity at 1400 hours. So let's see, was it in the Arctic? Was it in Southern Africa? It was in Southern Africa. But that doesn't always mean that the activity is going to stay down here. Sometimes that means the UFO traveled across here, and it could be coming up here, it could be going this way. As you can see now it moved into North Africa. And this bar for total is showing more activity. But as you can see, it has not crossed over any countries yet. Now, if you wanted to, you could use your Sky Ranger to patrol. It has radar of its own. You can also click on it and select a new target. Let's go this way. Okay, so we still have the same area. Look, there it is. And you have this one ready. And then you can also use this one to chase after it. Hopefully you get him over land. Oh, he's not over land, so... Now you're over land, you want to shoot him, but you need to be aggressive, because look how close and it's outrunning me. Sometimes this can be a pain in the butt, because you want to get him, and he keeps outrunning you. Well, we got him to crash land. So now we will have a mission when this Sky Ranger comes here. Yes, we will begin the mission. Now you don't have to begin your mission right away. If you wanted, you could do a different one that crashed first, or you might need to wait until, you know, there might be reasons why you're not beginning it first. But in this case, I'm ready to go ahead and say yes. Exercise caution. There may be operatives in the UFO or around the crash site. Mission will be successful when all enemy units have been eliminated or neutralized. Recovery of UFO remains, artifacts, and alien corpses can then be initiated. To abort the mission, return all your operatives to the transport vehicle if you can, and click on the abort mission icon. Anybody that you don't get back on your craft will be left behind, living or dead. You do not have to collect your dead if you don't want to. That's not necessary, but if there's somebody out there wounded, you will need to carry them. You will literally have to, like, carry them on your back, like in the backpack or in the hand. Now this is important because it says it's my turn. This is a daytime mission. Well, oops. Now, this tells you how many. You've got your time units and your energy units. That's important because they all have different amounts. I want to move him forward. I want to turn this way. As you can see, these things are going down and the number's going down as I do that. Right click to drag the screen. Now, that alien could be hiding in here, in here. This is a farm. This is a farm site mission. Now, Open XCom gives you this so you can see how many units you'll have left when you get to that spot. Now, I forgot to give this guy a weapon, so he doesn't need to shoot because he can't. Now, the UFO could be in this area, it could be in this area, but there is an edge to each map. So there's an edge here, and there's an edge here. So we're up in the top corner of this map. But keep in mind, the map goes at least 4 levels. And some maps will have buildings that go that high, or some of the alien aircraft will go that high. There are also aliens that can float or fly, so they may be up here looking down at you. Now, he doesn't have a weapon. Let's see, where are you standing? Are you standing? Okay, you have a weapon. So we're gonna have you come out here. I don't necessarily want to show the alien. If Daniel is back, I will load the other game. We'll start the. Well, that's what I'm going to do then. I'm gonna go ahead and start the game. I'm going to assume for now that Daniel wants me to add his soldier to the game. Now, rather than going to the boring stuff, I'm gonna click load game. Now, there are a lot of people who don't like it when people constantly save the game and reload the game. They call it save scumming. Well, when I play by myself, I might do that stuff. For the purposes of my playthrough, I'm kind of limiting that to... I mean, I will be saving the game, but I'm going to try not to be loading unless something really, really annoying happens. I mean, I used to play if one of my soldiers died, you know, none of my... But when I did the first version about a I was just either using my subscribers' names, or I was using movie character names and would just add a different movie character from some sort of theme movie or TV show. But I was still saving and loading the game mostly when I was on this screen, if there was activity that I missed. You know, if like a day or so went by, and I even had an episode where I kind of explained that, where in the future, after XCOM failed, they were still there was still a resistance movement. They figured out how to somehow they couldn't time travel, but they could replay time, see if the people in the past would make a different decision. So, but I want to do as many missions as possible. I don't want to miss activity. So when I find out that I missed one, yeah, I'm gonna reload, and I'm gonna go shoot down that UFO if I can, because I want to play that mission. Because more missions means more money, and it means happier countries. You know, the sooner you deal with an alien threat, the happier they are. The more money you can get, the more things you can sell, the more research you can do. So, since this is a XCOM and possibly Sims themed playthrough, I'm going to tie it in with the Stu Spudman story. I can pretend that at some point one of the Stu Spudmans got alien abducted in The Sims, or kidnapped by XCOM and forced to be a soldier. One of the two. But so we're going to start off with this one. I'm going to click it. I have put my base where approximately Twin Falls, Idaho is, where I have his house at, his farm, and he's working there in American Truck Simulator. I'm not sure where I'll have the next base. I might do New York, I might do UK, for where I'm assuming that's where Stu lives. the real Stu's gaming obsessions. But I put the base here, and we might not detect a whole lot of activity having our base here. So this is going to be fairly difficult. Without putting a European base right away, we're going to have a hard time on our hands. So I'm going to reload because time's going by, and I don't want time going by when I'm not actually, trying to play the game yet. And then I'm going to save it. Okay. This is... This is going to be... Episode 1 start. And get back here in the base. I'm going to show you what I've got going on here. I've got an alien containment being built. I've got a laboratory being built. A living quarters being built. I've got my large radar being built. And I've got a general stores being built. I'm rearming my aircraft with cannons because, as you just saw, you might have a very small aircraft right away. I'm putting an avalanche on this one because I like avalanche better, and I will probably put both avalanches on here when my other ones come in. I currently have 6 soldiers coming, so that I'll have all 14. I've got some rifle clips, some electro flares, and I've ordered avalanche missiles and some launchers, and I've got 23 scientists coming. That's all I could afford. I sold my engineers because I don't want them yet. As things stand right now, we have 47 out of our 50 living quarters being used. Here's our soldiers. I saved this particular version and the other two for the main reason that, as you can see, alright, the first one here is Hideo Saito. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and we're back to Hideo. We have 1, 2, 3. Let's do that again. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we have 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 4 of each. So depending on who joins, whether you're male or female, or if you have a preference, it's hard to get many females to start with. So I saved three start games with half and half. Let's see, Hideo is first. This, now I'm going to rename him in a minute, because I can't do it from this screen, but Open XCom allows you to save these templates so you can reuse them. So I can say, do that, do that, do it again, do it again, do it again, do it again with this one. There's not enough clips. The rifle already has a clip. But what I could do is go back this way, take one away from you, and one away from you. Make sure everybody's got an extra. Now keep in mind that everything I do here adds weight to these soldiers, and if they've got something in both hands, it makes it harder for them to hold the gun and aim it. But for the most part, they're not going to have much choice because I'm going to need them holding things in this other hand at times. Oops. All right. So there we go. We got boy, girl, boy, girl, boy, girl, boy, girl. Now the other thing to keep in mind, no, not that screen. We go to our soldier screen here. This tells you your strengths and weaknesses of each soldier as they come in, and it is possible to make these things have more, but it takes time and experience, which means they have to survive the mission. So as you can see, they're starting off with about 54 time units. Then they have their stamina or energy units. And sometimes if you're doing a longer mission, you might still have time units left, but they're exhausted, so you won't be able to move forward at all. You might be able to still shoot your weapon, but you won't be able to move. So I'm going to go on the assumption that Daniel would like to be added. So he gets this one. And then we have this is do I want to do that? I don't know. Anyway, I want to make it a point that I know which one's which without having to get to that inventory screen, because when you're in your base, it's the only way to see a picture of it. one reason why I like to rename them, because it does make it easy to know the names. Open XCom has added a lot of worldwide names. You know, I might not be familiar with a lot of the, let's say, Japanese names, male or female. I might either look them up or wait until I see the picture. There was a time when I was trying to play the game and had nothing but, well, that involved ordering troops and having sack mail that came in. But it would also tell me who was about to come, so I tried placing an order, save the game, place the order, check what's coming, and then if it didn't give me what I needed, I could try again. But I think OpenXCom cured that because it doesn't randomly give me different ones now, or it didn't seem to last time. So I was pretty much stuck with whatever the next ones are that they give me. Okay, so that's what this is gonna be. This is the first female chatter. This will be the male chatter 2, or sub. Let's honor them because they're subscribers. They have gone and subscribed to my channel and have volunteered. Oh, that's right. All right, we're gonna name this 1 because we got Daniel already. Okay, 1. Okay, we have 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3. Female subscriber 4. And then there's not going to be one of those because we already have him. Well, I apologize if for some reason I don't quite get to the action in this episode. This is mainly an intro. But I'd like to give everybody a chance to come on in. Now I'm going to go to the Equip Craft screen and confirm that I have the proper names. So Daniel is first. That's a female. That's a male. Female, male. Female, male, female. All right. Our transfers are coming like this. Bretislav, that I'm assuming that's a male. Muzaffar, Muron, a para might be a female. Alessio could be male. So yeah, until these arrive, and then it's a 7. This is how long you have to wait for them to come. So that's 3 days. It's gonna be a while. You know, we could end up having like 2 missions before that at least. Now, I'm gonna really quick go save this again. So as you can see, we have just this much money left at the moment. So what I'm gonna do, since I gave a little taste of this, I'm actually gonna go ahead and I'm going to, unless somebody pops in the chat, I'm going to stay here for another 22 minutes. So at 9 o'clock, I will call this episode if I don't have work. That will make it so that this video has comments and people can leave a comment saying that you don't have to be present for me to play. I'm just giving a chance to people to enlist. And I'd like to see if we can get more than one person before I start. So I'm going to go ahead and type that. I'm going to put up my Be Right Back window real quick while I wait for somebody to join in. And yes, that is the Sims 4 version. I have not made versions for all the games yet. But it says Be Right Back. So that's the important part. Okay. So what I'm going to also do this is not Stu's gaming obsessions. This is Stu Spudman. He's being added. Now when I played the first time around, Stu was either the first or one of the first to subscribe and be added to the ship as Spudhead Stu. This is similar but different. This is Stu Spudman from my story mashup. I'm gonna leave him like that for now. I think maybe I'll add here's me in case I need a scout. So I'm doing this in case I decide to start playing. doing that for now. There is now 11 minutes left until the end of episode 1, unless somebody chimes in. Bear with me. If I click on something else and I'm not on the game window, you might not be hearing the game. If there's anybody watching that would like to be added to the ship, I'm waiting for people to do so. I currently have added Daniel, Simulation Community. And in the meantime, I have added Stu Spudman, the character from the story mashup, and Uncle Stud, and my character. But these are characters that can be removed or added as needed. I can rename them right now because I have not started. But if there's somebody that wants to be on this ship right now, there's approximately 9 minutes left before I end this episode, unless somebody says they want to be added. We have 1 male, 1 female, 2 males, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4. If you don't know what's going on or missed out on anything, it would be important to re-watch this stream. I showed basically the gist of everything you do to get started and how I've set mine up. As mentioned earlier, if you're not able to see it in the chat, I wrote out that I have completed the intro portion of episode 1. If more chatters join in, I will start the campaign. Otherwise, 9 p.m. my time, I will end the first episode. You can then leave comments to be added as a soldier if you wish. But I would prefer that subscribers are added. I'm sure people are busy watching somebody else right now. Bluebell might be streaming something. I understand if people are not watching right now. Unfortunately, my schedule has me streaming things at the same time as other community members. And I believe there was a little bit of buffering going on there. If anybody is tuning in to see the battle gameplay, that might not happen tonight. There's 6 minutes left. I do have a previous playthrough that featured basically what I'm doing now. People could watch through that. And what I'll probably do is, if I end this episode at 9 o'clock, I'll probably load up American Truck Simulator and do some loads in American Truck Simulator. Unless somebody starts talking in the chat room. I appreciate anybody who is watching. Thank you to Daniel, Simulation Community, for chiming in earlier. That is why he has been added. Be sure to check out his channel. I will be adding him to the description. His link will be there. That's something that I do when people chime in and they support me. I add them to the episode descriptions, just like I do stories, and I don't mind sharing your channel links and such. At some point when I get a chance, I will add in the links to Streamlabs and such, so they can be just put in and people can click your link from the chat. But I need to have a day off where I'm not doing other things first to really get into that, because there's so many people I want to add links for. I mean, it might be easier than I'm making it out to be, but right now it sounds kind of difficult. I'm the type of person that I procrastinate when I do things, and I put things off and think that I have anxiety issues, and I think something is going to be harder than it ends up being. You know, I mean, sometimes I end up being right, and it turns out to be difficult, but there's many times where I'm wrong, and it wasn't so bad. Could have done it sooner, but if anybody missed the earlier portion, I have put my base approximately where Twin Falls, Idaho is, continuing with the Stu Spudman theme of Sims 4 and ATS. We have 3 more minutes left. I'm gonna click on this. I'm gonna click on this because I don't want the time to go by, but I just want to show this is where I put my first base. Once again, this is the Geoscape screen. This is where you shoot down the UFOs if you can. They'll appear as little red dots, and yours are the yellow dots, trying to intercept the red dots and shoot them down. once again, as you all can see, by doing this, even though I have started this out on beginner level, this is a very difficult place to start your base at because I'm only covering this much area with my radar. Now, it's important that you don't lose the US, so most likely we won't miss any US because they give a lot of money, but I'm not really helping out over here very much, and that's kind of dangerous. Okay. It is now 9 o'clock my time, and I'm going to go ahead and call this episode. Anybody that wants their soldier added, anybody that wants me to go like this and rename a soldier, your name here, if you want that, or wait until episode 2. I don't know when I'll be doing that. Once again, I would prefer that you be a and by the same token, if you are a subscriber, and I will check to see if I am also a subscriber. But going to put that back to there, and we will be ending this episode. Thank you once again to Daniel, Simulation Community, for chiming in. While he did not necessarily say he wanted to be added, I have added him. He can always request that he not be added, if he wishes. But I'm going to end this for now. Hope everybody's having a good day. I hope to see you in the next episode of this or any of my other video game playthroughs. Right. Bye-bye for now.